Hi, how you doing, everybody? Welcome to Demo Days. I'm Steve Taylor, your host, and this is the show where we ask vendors the tough questions while they give us a demo of their products. Today, I'm joined Today, I'm joined by Ian from getKambium. Ian, how you doing, sir?
I'm great, Steve. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. A little tongue twisted. My son decided to come into my room, as you probably saw him exiting at the beginning there. So
That's all good.
he always throws me for a loop when he pops in and I'm trying to get work done. But it's okay. We got it going.
Yeah, it's good to go.
Yeah.
I'm back from my most recent US fix. Being at PAX 8 Beyond.
How was it? I'm so jealous I didn't get to go.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. The sessions, the people, the energy. Yeah. These guys have nailed how to put on a great show.
That's fantastic, man. That's my plan, my goal, my dream. PAX 8 Beyond 2025. So that's where I'd like to be. And I'd also I might want to go to a couple others next year, but that's the dream, is PAX 8 Beyond 2025. That's what I'm working toward.
Yeah, it was great, and it was good to see there's different parts of PAX 8, the marketplace and PAX 8 Academy, and it was great to see PAX 8 Academy getting, they were there front and center, about MSPs, how to sell, how to engage, and they had sellout rooms. It was just the energy in PAX 8.
I saw some of the events were standing room only. They were so well attended. So that's really just amazing that they were able to pull that off. So some quick housekeeping. One, next week, Channel Program is hosting an M&A growth show on Tuesday the 25th. It's free. It's in Costa Mesa. If you think there is even the slightest possibility that you will either sell or acquire another MSP at all in your lifetime, then you should attend. It's the first one went really well. We did that in Chicago. It was really well received. All of the MSPs that went said they got a ton of value out of it. So please go to channelprogram.com. Up along the top, you'll see a little banner across the top for the M&A growth show next week, Tuesday the 25th in Costa Mesa, California. And then today we're going to demo getKambium. If you go to channelprogram.com and search for getKambium, I know there is a contact button, so that way you can request a demo and get more information. So if at any point you want to get more info, hop onto that vendor page on Channel Program, and we will get you in touch with Ian or somebody from the team to get you moving forward. So without further ado, Ian, I know you've got a few slides you want to take us through, just so that way we can better understand what getKambium's like philosophy and meaning behind the platform is, and then you're going to take us through a demo. So I'm going to pass it over to you and let you do your thing.
So can we see? So I'm not great. So we've got the slide deck. So I'm just I thought I'd start off. I was talking to a colleague in the States, from Philadelphia, who you're talking about getKambium, talking about MSPs, talking about tools, and MSPs get hit with a whole bunch of tools, the tools overload, arguably. And this guy, he said, if I'm seeing a new tool or a new service, I'm an MSP. I want to know what's in it for me. Why should I care? And prove it. Prove that what you're saying would work out. So I thought I sort of start, try and answer those questions up front. Maybe an unusual approach to start the presentation off. But what is, so can I introduce getKambium? It's a sales tool for MSPs, and the fundamental purpose and mantra about getKambium is You need to talk business with your clients. You have a business conversation, not a technical conversation. Talk to anybody, and in the MSP space, and what people talked about last week at PAX 8 is for the MSP, the sales process. Sales is a number 1, 2, or 3 issue for an MSP. The most important part of the sales process is the discovery, asking the right questions. Take the questions, make recommendations aligned to a client's business needs, their business goals. Measure that, develop effective QBRs, and sell trust. If you're not selling trust, if your clients, you don't have trust with your client, you're not going to sell, you're not going to win. And that's what getKambium is about. It's the next generation sales and QBR tool for MSPs. And so what's in it for you? The key requirement for MSPs today is to align their solutions and services with the client's business needs and goals. Understand where's the client going? How do they want to get there? What are its objectives? What makes it successful? If you do that, you uncover new opportunities. You align yourself to be a strategic, trusted advisor. So that's what's in it for you. Becoming, aligning a tool that helps you align your solutions, services with business goals to become a trusted advisor. And why should you care? The marketplace is changing, and MSPs they want an MSP, like clients want an MSP who understands their business. It's not just a case of selling me some widgets, some licenses, some services. Understand my business, understand where I'm going. Help me understand how I can use IT to achieve our business goals. IT marketplace is changing, for example. AI is everywhere. How can your client use AI to achieve their business goals? So that's something that getKambium helps you to do, and we can prove it. We've got a couple of clients, some quotes here from them. With getKambium, we changed our approach to customers. We talked business. We understand what their journey is. So with getKambium, we've got less churn. Our clients are recommending us more, and we've got a nice stack of new business, word for word from Heather Todd from Europe. And getKambium, another MSP, it helps them to engage with customers. They can go through the questionnaires, questions, understand the customers, understand how to engage with customers, help them understand how their solution services stack will help their business get to where they want to be, and it improves the client business as well as their own business. So hopefully that answers my own questions. And why should people look at getKambium now? Partly because buyer personas are changing. You're not just selling to the MSP, to the IT manager or technical person. The buyer personas are the CEO, the marketing guy, the COO, different people within the client organization now are now buying IT and IT services and cloud solutions. So the buyers changed, and their buying processes have changed. It's not just a case of buying licenses. It's understanding, who are the key stakeholders in the business, what services they're using, and they're concerned not about the number of licenses, but they're concerned about how do we integrate these various solutions, how do we manage our risk, how do we make sure we're compliant. So there's a whole bunch of changes in the marketplace, and it's all being driven by a change in the client and how they're working. And with getKambium, we're about talking business to win business. And hopefully I'll show how with getKambium, you build trust. You identify business needs. You uncover unmet needs, uncover opportunities for cross-sell and upsell. You use getKambium, the workflows of getKambium to streamline proposals, put together proposals in 30 minutes, half an hour, not the days that it might take. Deliver business like QBRs. You have a consistent go-to-market approach, a consistent messaging, how you're talking to your client. And many of our MSP partners going to their client, understand their business, helps them differentiate themselves from their competition. So hopefully that gives you sort of a very high-level background about what getKambium is about and why we're a bit different.
So I've got some questions before we jump into a demo.
Sure.
There are a lot of QBR and sales tools out there.
Yep.
And I think you did a great job of explaining why MSPs should be using a QBR and sales tool, but let's talk to the MSPs that are already using one. Mm-hmm. Why should they consider getKambium instead of the platform that they're using today?
getKambium, I think the main point of difference about getKambium is the whole philosophy and mantra about talking business. Many of the sales tools that we see in the market today, they're good tools, they're good companies, but they're really looking at driving a technical conversation. Let's have a look at the number of licenses you have. Let's have a look at the number of your warranty issues. There's also sort of newer AI tools that are sort of looking at let's look at white space. Compared to your solutions, compared to your competitors, your peers, you should be using these tools. So a lot of the sales tools, it's about technology push. You need a cybersecurity solution. You need a risk management solution. You need a backup solution. getKambium is about business pull, asking your business questions to align solutions and services and stack to business need. And that's, I think, the fundamental difference between getKambium and other tools out there. And there are other tools there, some sales tools, MyMatrix, Cloud Radio, for example. Partners will use both tools. Cloud Radio is unified dashboard to work with a client on a day-to-day basis. getKambium provides the sales engagement, lets the client win business, and if the client isn't winning business, having the best unified tool in the world isn't going to help.
Got it. Okay. Now, I think the next thing you've got for us, you have more slides or demo?
No, I'm done with slides. I'm done with PowerPoint.
All right. Look at that, guys. We're at 12 minutes and we're already done with the slides. All right. So I'll pull the slides down, and then if you want to get your other screen shared so we can hop into that demo, that'd be great.
Sure.
While you do that, getKambium, does it integrate with our current tech stack, like with our PSA or anything?
At the moment, our key integration is with ConnectWise.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to understand how to make this share my screen in this platform. And that should be it. Hopefully you can see my screen and my dashboard.
Nope.
So why is that not working? It says allow. I'm trying to do allow, and it's not happening. Sorry, Steve. I'm showing my technical illiteracy here.
All good. While you do that, you guys are from the UK, right?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. My apologies.
It's all good.
All right. So New Zealand. I just assume everyone with a cool accent is from the UK, and
well, to me, the Americans have got the cool accent. You guys got the cool accent. A demo presentation always sounds much cooler if you're an American. I'm sorry, I am just struggling like crazy to make this work. So I've got it up on my screen, but I'm not getting it through to your screen, and I'm not really sure why.
So I know you got to hit present, and then hit share screen, and then are you on a Mac or a PC?
I am on a PC.
Yeah, that's where I get lost and don't know how to help you.
All right. And it says select window screen, and that's where it is freezing. It's just, I'm going to press allow, it's doing nothing. So I'm concerned about this.
Do you need to refresh your browser? And
I will refresh right now. Hopefully it doesn't go horribly wrong.
Okay. No problem. So we're going to call this technical difficulties, everybody. Ian will be back momentarily, where hopefully he'll be able to share his screen, and we'll be able to do that demo. So since you guys are in New Zealand, do you have support on American times?
Yeah, we can't do full business hours, but we do most business hours and provide support to services on getKambium. Hopefully, can you see that just now?
I can.
Cool, it actually works. That is fantastic. This is, will I get into it, Steve?
What's that?
Will I get into it and just start going through the demo?
Yeah. Just so ideally, walk us through like the typical day for an MSP. What will they do to go from soup to nuts, from beginning to end, on running one of these QBRs?
Sure. Where getKambium probably has another point of difference with other tools and other solutions is our starting point is asking the right questions, having a business conversation with the client. So our baseline is doing discovery, providing a framework for the MSP to go to the client to ask the right questions about their business, about the current IT environment, about what keeps them awake at night. And that is the baseline discovery, which then drives the client engagement and all the workflows and processes within getKambium. So the getKambium, this is the homepage. We start off with a section on clients. You've got all the information on clients, your engagement with the clients, the recommendations made to clients. It's that sort of audit trail. The key component in getKambium is discover, that doing a discovery review. And from discovery, from that baseline, getKambium QBRs are what we call true business QBRs. It's around testing delivery milestones against the business objectives and recommendations set in discovery, and showing the client over time how you're helping, how your services, their use of IT is helping them achieve their business goals. So the first, where we normally start with getKambium is asking the right questions. So in getKambium, we have a content hub, and out of the box, it provides questionnaires so that an MSP can decide what am I doing today with my client, with my prospect client or my existing client. Am I going to go and do a sales discovery? Is this a new prospecting meeting? We want to understand the business, understand if that client is potentially a fit with us and our solution services. And I'd like to be a good client for us because it's a two-way street. It's got to be a win-win. So that sales discovery is going to be a fairly simple, sort of questionnaire. Go see the client, have a conversation with them for about an hour. That's typically about 12, 13 questions. All those questions are in the getKambium questionnaire. You can go do a strategy workshop. Existing client, maybe when the partner, the MSP's done a QBR, maybe that's been a sort of 15, 20-minute meeting. They might add on a strategy workshop. Let's just test where you're going with your IT strategy. Or let's go and do an AI readiness review. So AI is everywhere, it's all pervasive, it's changing our world, it's changing our lives. How is your client going using AI? Are they ready to use AI? Do they understand how they can use AI? We, the MSP, are a trusted advisor. So, we're going to take them through a workshop. How can you use AI? If they don't, they probably won't know, ideally how to use AI. So that's a starting point. It's putting together the right questionnaire and deciding what you want to do. And with getKambium out of the box, you've got a set of questionnaires around, as I said, sales discovery, AI readiness. You can do a full business technology review. That's, a significant, maybe a 2-day workshop with the client. So, you've got the scope here to do different things with different clients out of the box. And the questionnaires are the starting point for getKambium. So you decide what to do with the client, why you're going to see a client or a new client, and then you do discovery. And the discovery process is a fairly sort of intuitive process. Most MSPs, when they see this, say, hey, this is the process that we do anyway. So we're just really codifying, putting into a framework, what is a sort of natural, sort of typical practice for MSPs. So this is the discovery review process. So first of all, with getKambium, you gather information, go talk to the client, do that, do the meeting, do the questions, do the interview. From that information, from the interview, you understand what are the client priorities, what are their requirements. You agree those requirements, you agree those priorities. That lets you put together the recommendations about how the MSP will deliver their stack, their solutions, their services to meet their client business need. That doing a getKambium discovery will typically end up with about 30 to 60 recommendations to a client about what they should be doing. And it might be anything around cybersecurity, around identity management, about cybersecurity awareness training. It can be a range of themes. And if you've got that information and you understand priorities, that drives a roadmap. And if you've got the roadmap, that drives a budget. So from the questionnaire, all the workflows in getKambium to go from doing the interview to building up a client strategy and delivering a proposal, a report, and a presentation. And if you're doing a simple sales discovery, you do that. The whole process can be done in less than 3 hours. And for an MSP, that can often take way longer than that. Does that sort of make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So if I'm going to go into a day in life in MSP, a day in life using getKambium, go and do getKambium discovery. So we go into the first initial questionnaires. So we've got these out of the box. Let's understand the client. Let's understand what they're doing, where they're going. So you've got a set of questions, and you just basically go through these with the client. You're asking these questions. You're having that conversation. Ideally, with the client, there's somebody there from leadership. It might be the owner manager, it might be the CEO, it might be somebody from the leadership team, in addition to IT people or marketing people. Different stakeholders are in the room having this conversation about our organization, why are we successful, what's happening in the marketplace. One question is like revenue goals, what are our business priorities. The MSP can change these questions, but typically out of the box, our partners will use 95% of the questionnaire out of the box and maybe tweak it with a few of their own questions which align to their particular sector or their focus, their stack and their values and their culture. So the MSP goes through the client, a set of questions around the business. So we always talk, ask the right questions, talk business. And so these are the business questions, understand what they're doing. And then out of the box, you've got the questionnaire. This is an AI strategy questionnaire. So it's got a set of questions that out of the box around asking the client about these issues that are on the screen, about IT reporting, about policies, about reviews and planning, key applications. So understanding what's happening within the client. And you have the conversation with the client, understand what their current environment is, what are their priorities, and you come up with you ask them about the current situation, and with the client you agree, do we need to make a recommendations to address this issue, to fix a problem, to provide a solution? And that's going to be a yes or a no. So and agreeing with a client as a yes or no is important because it's talking through the client. We mutually agree that this requires a recommendation. This is an issue that needs to be addressed. So if you need the recommendation, how do you prioritize that? What's the client's perception of the importance, the relevance of that issue? And you get a priority. And with getKambium, the workflow, if it's a high priority or a must-do recommendation, that will go into the roadmap with the client within the next 6 months. If it's a should-do recommendation, that will go into the roadmap in about 6 to 12 months. So you're starting to sort of structure a proposal, a roadmap, a timeline. And if you go through, I'll just go to the end of the last question. You go through, this is a strategy workshop, about 25 questions. You get to the last one, and then you move on to recommendations. And with getKambium, the recommendations are also out of the box. The client can either use our out of the box recommendations or tailor, structure their recommendations to their particular stack, their particular solutions, and build in the features and benefits of those particular solutions. So you're not having to sort of repopulate or change the approach of clients every time. Recommendations are done out of the box to give to the client. So for everyone where we said we need a recommendation, here's all the issues that need a recommendation. And once you've had that discussion with the client, you've got the recommendations. That then drives the roadmap. What are we going to do with the client? What are the priority items, the must-dos, the should-dos? how do we categorize them? Is that a strategy issue? Is it a security issue? Is it an information management issue? You start to understand what the one-off costs going to be, the setup costs, the provisioning costs. You've got ongoing monthly recurrent costs and your annual costs. And with ConnectWise, you're pulling these from your ConnectWise catalog. So from this stage, you start to put so you've got understand the business, understand the priorities, make recommendations, put those into a structure for the client around, how do we categorize these? What's our strategy? It's about managing assets, reducing risk, having the right governance, having the right technology, the change controls. Some of those classic issues. Sorry, and I just pressed the wrong button. Don't quite know how to do that. So you can still see that screen.
Yep. I see the strategic goals page. Yeah.
Yep. And then the client uses getKambium to prep the report. They put in the commentary around. And I'm going to exit full screen again. They put in the commentary, for an executive summary of the report. People know what the executive summary is. You fill in what the key issues, what you want to say to the client, and from that you've got a report. So this is an out-of-the-box template. You've got all the information. You put together a report which covers the exec summary, what's happening in the organization, what are our priorities, what's our strategy, what are our current planned projects, what's the timeline. A fairly comprehensive report to the client, which MSP puts together in about 3 hours from war to go. Hopefully that sort of makes sense to you, and it's so you can see why this would work for MSPs. Is that okay, Steve? Does that?
Yeah. So it seems like, and this is me being critical. It seems like the platform is. It seems like you have a lot of questions, and that all of the questions that you guys have is really the intellectual property of getKambium. The platform itself doesn't really seem all that, I don't know, revolutionary. It's the questions that you guys are including for MSPs. That's where the real bulk of the power is.
Yes, absolutely right. A large part of getKambium is, it's around the whole philosophy of asking the right questions. So MSPs, you don't have to think about the questions. A lot of MSPs are technical people, talking business, understanding business environment, maybe doesn't come naturally. So the questionnaires are out of the box. So why is getKambium? Why do we think it's not revolutionary? It's not rocket science. But the approach of business-led, business for us to talk business, that's a different with getKambium.
So all that to say, what's stopping an MSP for signing up for a month or two, paying to use the platform, realizing that it's always the same questions, copying down the questions into their own Word document, and canceling?
That's that would be a risk. We haven't seen anyone do that yet. In questions, there's probably over 200 questions. It's not always the same questionnaire. You put together the different questions, different questionnaires for different requirements, for different purposes. A sales discovery or a business technology review. So having the questions is part of our IP, and it's part of the proposition to partners. The questions are out of the box. But with getKambium, you've got the right questions. It's in the workflow. You can go from asking questions, doing the interview, to having a report to give to your client in about 30 minutes. You can have an Excel spreadsheet of 100 questions, but that isn't going to put together the report, put together the recommendations, the roadmap, the budget. It's not going to push those recommendations as opportunities into ConnectWise. It's not giving you a consistent framework, a consistent structure for the business success team, the account managers to go to market to talk to their clients. Questions are a starting point, but they're just a starting point.
Got it. Very good. So how does getKambium help our service team be more efficient and productive when doing these QBRs? Because and again, being critical, there's a lot of questions, right? So obviously MSPs are going to fall into one of probably three camps.
Yep.
Camp number one is, wow, this is amazing. I never thought to ask all of this before. I can't wait to do it. Camp number two is, why would anybody do a 4-hour meeting so they could ask all of these freaking questions? And then camp number three is, I just don't know how I feel about it yet. I don't have any skin in the game. I don't have an opinion one way or another.
Right. getKambium as a sales tool is typically used by the go-to-market, the salespeople. And with getKambium, you're right, you ask questions. If you're doing a simple sales discovery, you've got 12 questions. It's just, if you've got 12 questions, it's an hour. If you're doing a full strategy workshop with a client, maybe a larger client, you really want to figure out what we're going to be doing over the next 12 months, that can be a 2-hour workshop. So yeah, a lot of questions, but you select the question, you're selective with the questions, and the questions align to the purpose of the meeting and the purpose of client engagement. So yeah, getKambium has got 200 plus questions, but you're selective in what you're asking for a particular meeting and what you're doing. getKambium has also got business questions. So if you're having a conversation with a CEO, the marketing director, the operations director, they aren't maybe that interested in tickets, lookups, those sorts of questions. They're talking about strategy, business objectives. You can select business questions to ask that audience. You can also select technical questions to ask, to talk to the IT manager about. So you can be selective and sort of, around not just questions, but the conversations you have and who you're talking to.
So if I'm hearing correctly, this is designed for the salesperson to go out and use. And oftentimes the salesperson might not necessarily be as technical as your engineers that you have on staff.
Yeah.
So these questions are here as kind of guidelines to help the salesperson get more possibly deeper answers than what they could normally get with their limited technical knowledge.
Yeah, client success managers, consultants, not your, the high value technical guys going to market. If I can, I hope that doesn't sound bad for the sales guys, but it's going to see the client and using the getKambium process, having that conversation around, where you're going, what you're doing, why you're successful. You start to uncover gaps. You start to uncover what makes that client successful. Where are there gaps in their infrastructure and the environment, and how they're working with their people, how they can use new tools, different solutions that are better aligned to their business objectives. And it's all about developing that business engagement with the client, becoming that trusted partner. Some of our clients have said, well, for some conversations, like doing maybe a business technology review, we have to have a technical person with us. That's not very efficient. Why can't we just have sort of the sales business success person involved in that meeting? Well, getKambium provides the structure to have the business questions and the technical questions, and it's going to, where it helps with the whole client engagement and the ongoing management is, you understand where the client's going and how we're going to deliver services, what the budget is, what's the timeline, what's the roadmap, and it's understanding that very quickly. You're not having to spend multiple days trying to understand the client environment and how to resolve their technical problems. You're resolving how are they going to better use IT.
And do you have any examples of how other MSPs have used getKambium to win new business and retain existing clients?
Well, I've got the client, the quotes that I mentioned earlier. MSPs, they use getKambium in fundamentally the same way, but with different nuances. As one client talking to recently, their focus on getKambium is in discovery. They say it's the best tool that we have seen that helps us engage with the client to understand how we can demonstrate our value, how we're going to engage with that client, how we become a trusted partner. We've got another client I was talking to just before I went to Paxley Beyond, did a webinar for us. It's about how getKambium gives them a structured process to go to the customer, to quickly understand what the issues are. In this particular case they were talking about, it's about doing a cybersecurity discovery. How do we make sure that they are compliant with the cybersecurity frameworks that they have to align to, the controls, the frameworks, etc. So it's not the critical part of getKambium, the part which I think adds most value to our partners is the discovery part. It's understanding the client, not from a business or from a technical point of view, but from a business point of view, becoming engaged as a trusted strategic partner.
All right, so just looking through the questions I've made note of, I feel like you've helped us understand how getKambium is going to streamline the sales process and deliver more effective QBRs, and that's through asking effective questions.
Yeah.
We've talked about how getKambium is different from other sales platforms, and I think, again, it all revolves around your questions.
Yep. To an extent, yep.
We walked through a very abridged version of the typical workflow of how an MSP would use getKambium to prepare for and conduct a QBR or sales meeting.
Yep.
You integrate with ConnectWise today. Do you have any other integrations planned?
There's other integrations planned, and we caught up with a couple of people at Paxley Beyond about how we're going to drive those. I can't really say what they are today because we haven't sort of decided on the roadmap. There's also going to be a huge opportunity around AI. At the moment, you look at the AI tools from from other platforms similar-ish to getKambium. You look at marketplaces, and a lot of the AI there is being used to sort of look at comparing how the tools, the services one client is using to a whole and benchmark them. It's about looking for white space, what solutions that aren't using, and that's providing some opportunities to cross and upsell. The getKambium, it's not technology push, it's market business pull. So how do we use AI to merge those two sets of data, the market pull data and the technology push data? Does that make sense?
I gotta say, everyone's jumping on the AI bandwagon, and I'm still not sure how I feel about it. I feel like it has its place, but it's like every vendor thinks that their platform is its place. And I will be cautiously optimistic. No, I will just be cautious. And I don't know. I'm not overly excited when vendors say we're looking to implement AI, but I will be if you show me how great it is once you guys have implemented it.
Yeah.
AI. I'm easy to please. It's just when people start making promises that aren't ready yet, I don't get super excited. So
yeah, I get that. But and as the guys at Paxley Beyond were saying on their presentations, regardless of your views of AI and what it's going to do and how it's going to change your life, it's here, it's happening. There's going to be outcomes. It's going to change our life, the way we work. It's going to change the way in which MSPs can work with their clients. It's going to change the way in which clients can do things. So it's how do we grab all that in a consistent way to better engage the client.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I use AI every day. So don't take this as I'm poo-pooing AI. I'm not. I love it. I use it. I sometimes sit here and go, how could this platform possibly implement AI? Now, keep in mind that the way I use AI is through, the chat bots and that kind of thing. So I don't think about some of the AI things that can automate like what an app is doing and present results based on AI and machine learning. Because I'm always thinking of the hallucinations and the chat bots, right? I'm not thinking of ways that you can use AI in a more controlled and almost like behind the scenes manner, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So one of the things I want to ask is, how does getKambium kind of, I don't know, transform in a way? So let's say I'm an MSP and I focus solely on Microsoft 365, and I only use third-party products and platforms when it doesn't exist in Microsoft 365. So does getKambium care if I'm a Sophos guy or a WebRoot guy or or whatever? Like it's just more or less asking the questions, and then we as the MSP are going to make the recommendations based on our tech stack, right?
Yeah. getKambium is agnostic to the vendors, the solutions, any particular services that an MSP can offer. The questions, as I said, are a starting point. It's a lot of RIP, but what getKambium is, it's around from that starting point. How does the MSP make solutions and recommendations to their client which are aligned to their technology stack? How are they selling whichever cybersecurity platform that they have, whichever security awareness training platform they have? How are they positioning that to help so the client understands how it's going to help their business get to where they want to be better and faster and probably cheaper? So there's no magic in, there's still the old saying, if you're trying to sell something, it's got to be either better, faster, or cheaper, or all three. So with getKambium, you can show the MSP can show the client, how it's going to make their business better, and it helps them align their stack. They can, within getKambium, attached tool, they can have information about particular solutions, the features, benefits. That's up to the MSP. And once if they're demonstrating that value, getKambium helps them present in a consistent way. So getKambium is partly about the questions. It's partly about translating those questions and those client issues into recommendations that will help the client, that align to the client's business goals and processes, and saving time. I've been working in IT business in some way or other for a long time, longer than I care to admit. And MSPs are without doubt the busiest group of people that I have ever met. They're always, no one's got any time because they've always got client demands, issues arising on a day-to-day basis. So time is precious. Time is important to MSPs. And getKambium can reduce the time involved to engage with a client in a sales process from a day to a couple of hours. It can reduce the time involved in doing a strategy workshop from 2 days around the table to 2 to 3 hours to actually get everyone to the same place, all the stakeholders aligned. It's about asking the right questions, making the right recommendations, and saving time, doing it in an effective way.
I have two more topics I want to go over. We're going to talk about data and pricing. So we'll save pricing for last.
Sure.
So let's talk about data. While getKambium isn't necessarily pulling in like personally identifying information, you don't have like healthcare records, you're not accessing client files, or there's no agents being installed. However, you are asking some really good questions in your platform. So kudos to the questions. However, on the flip side, the answers to those questions could be very revealing for what our clients or prospects have planned for the foreseeable future, right? So
they're reading online.
so how do we know that that information is kept private and secure? What measures do you have in place to protect this type of sensitive client information? Because I don't feel like it's not regulated information, but it's still kind of like my client's business plan for the next few years, right?
Yeah. And most of our MSP partners, all of them, are concerned about the data privacy security.
Rightfully so.
That's probably number one question. Part of that answer is in the fundamental architecture of getKambium. It's not multi-tenant. Every partner has their own isolated database, so there can be no sort of pollution of data or movement of data from one client to one partner to another partner. Every partner has got their own specific database and their own application on the platform.
So if Jimmy from MSP 123 in California gets hacked, that threat actor can't get access to the whole database of your customers because each client has their own database.
That's correct.
Okay.
The database, the platform sits on Azure in the west coast of the States. So we rely in part on the security and controls within the Azure environment. To test that with ConnectWise, we have gone through the ConnectWise event process. We do that annually, and that tests our controls, it tests our privacy issues. It takes us through a full, security, privacy, assessment of the integration of the data which we're pushing and pulling into ConnectWise, for example. So we're meeting their requirements on the event requirements on an annual basis, and showing our culture, approach, and our actions around security, privacy, etc., and data management. So we do have a third-party audit, annual third-party audit.
Perfect. And then you mentioned it's hosted in the west coast of the United States. Do you also have it hosted in like Europe, UK, GDPR compliance, all that good stuff?
We're not looking at Europe, UK yet. Our focus at the moment, we started off in Australia, and New Zealand. We have, and that's where a lot of our guidance is coming from our MSP partners. We have an MSP, so our partner advisory board. We've got 12 MSPs who work with us to look at how we can make getKambium better for them. And over the last 9 months, if you looked at getKambium 9 months ago to what it is today, it's quite different. And the additional features and functionality has been driven by our MSP partners. This is what we want to see. This is how getKambium is going to help us get where we want to be. So our focus is on Australasia and then moving into the US. MSPs are fairly similar. They're fairly they go fairly similar. Talk to an MSP in Australia or in North America or in Canada. They've got fairly similar issues depending on the size of the MSP, what they're trying to do. But they're a fairly homogeneous community.
So let's talk about the pricing model for getKambium.
Very simple SaaS pricing model. $149 US for a single user, for a sales guy who's going to use getKambium. 5 users for $50 per month. 10 users is $850 US per month. That's the active users. They can also bring in users that are sales coaches or technical users, which we don't count as active users. So it's not in the license count.
So you said it's active users. So does that mean I can have 15 users, but if only 2 of them are in getKambium at a time, then I only need 2 licenses?
No, if it's an active user, it's a sales customer facing person who's using getKambium to put together, to do the interviews, the discoveries, the reports, the presentations, the client engagement. If they have a sales coach, for example, who wants to see, who's working with them to track, how they are improving their sales processes, that sales coach can have a license to access the platform, but they're not going to be using the platform per se to put together reports, to do the questionnaires, etc.
Okay. And then how quickly do MSPs start to see an ROI?
Depends on obviously the MSP. We would expect, the MSPs, our partners now, are saying that they can get up to speed with getKambium very quickly. If they've got a new member of staff, for example, a new sales guy coming on board, they do an induction meeting with them in the morning with getKambium. They go and shadow an existing member of the team about how they use getKambium with the client, and they're good to go. Within a couple of hours. Most MSPs, our partners, will, they need, if getKambium helps them win one new client, with whom they're doing, a year or 2 years work, 36 recommendation, it's paid for itself.
Okay.
And some MSPs will get payback with that one client, month 1. Some of them, there might be a longer buying process with the client, month 3.
And I just want to make sure everybody's thinking straight. This platform is really cool. Okay. So if you are the type of company that meets regularly with your existing clients and gets regular sales meetings with prospects, then absolutely consider it. But if you're not getting in front of opportunities to sell right now, getKambium's not going to fix that. It's not going to magically make meetings happen. No. So you still have to go out and sell. The one thing that I was always looking for with my MSP in the early years was some magical software. I expected, all I need is the right PSA and RMM, and then customers will just come flocking to me because obviously I'm offering the best solutions in the area.
Yeah,
but prospects don't know that. Prospects don't know who I am. They don't care what tools I'm using. They care that I'm able to deliver great service. And no amount of tools is going to deliver great service because the human element still needs to be involved there.
Yeah. And that is, that's a great point about getKambium. You've got all these AI tools, understanding technology tickets, lookups, etc. getKambium is something about people. It's about us, engaging with people, understanding those people, becoming a trusted partner with those people. We've been doing some work with MindMatrix, for example. Mm-hmm. MindMatrix, I've got a great tool for lead generation. But once you've got a lead, what do? You use getKambium. That's going to give you the most effective way to engage with that client, understand the client, give them a proposal, and win that business.
And that's the type of strategic partnerships that MSPs need to know about.
Yeah.
So you said you're working with MindMatrix, and MindMatrix will help MSPs generate new leads.
Yep.
And you will help them nurture those leads. Well, no, MindMatrix will nurture the leads. You'll help the MSP when that lead turns into a prospect and they're ready for that sit down.
Yeah, and convert that lead into business.
Great. Are there any other strategic partnerships you guys have in place today?
At the moment, we we have quite a number of partners who are using Cloud Radio. So you can, for example, very simply email getKambium reports into the Cloud Radio environment. So you've got a single, you've got all that information sitting in the Cloud Radio portal.
Okay.
How we can develop that over time is a sort of a current discussion. There's another, we get asked about integrations a lot, but we're a sort of relatively young company. We've got limited resources, so we're focusing on those integrations which will add the most value to our partners fastest. And as you say, one of those is around having lead gen. From lead gen, use getKambium, and around once you've used getKambium, getKambium is really setting the roadmap, what the client engagement is going to look like over the next 12 to 18 months, how to put that into the client portal or the partner portal and into the client portal. Because another theme that came out of Pax8 Beyond is self-service, and that's a whole new discussion. Cool. But another point I'd like to make, if that's okay, is getKambium isn't going to generate leads. It's going to help you convert leads once you've got them. But with getKambium, we had a great video webinar we did with one of our partners, Heather Todd from Yorb. She used Yorb have used getKambium for 18 months. They're one of our early adopters. They fundamentally changed the way in which they talk to clients, how they engage with clients, for how they want to understand the client, understand the journey the client's going on, and make that journey with them. What that's the outcome of that for Yorb has been more business, and it's also been more client referrals. So their clients are going to people that they know and referring Yorb to that business, and that's what's providing a whole new stack of business for them.
Awesome, man. Well, I gotta say, Ian, I like what I see with your platform. It's very cool. The pricing seems reasonable for what it does. MSPs, if you are interested in getting more information about getKambium, you can go to Channel Program's website and you can just search for getKambium, all one word, and that'll take you right to their vendor page where you can hit the button to get in touch with one of the sales reps who can give you a personalized demo. And then do you guys have like a trial that they can get set up too?
Yeah, we set up a trial. It's typically a 30-day trial. It can be a bit longer or shorter depending on the particular client and the size of client. Within that trial, we'll help with onboarding. So we'll get them. Our aim is to get them using getKambium quickly as fast as possible, and to demo. We believe in our product. We can demonstrate what it's done for other MSPs. How it's helping them compete, grow, win new business. So the fast we can get a potential partner or prospect onto getKambium to get them actively using it, then we both win.
Very cool, man. Well, thank you so much, Ian. MSPs, check it out. And hopefully we'll catch you next week at the M&A Growth Show in Costa Mesa. Take care, everybody. We'll see you at the next live stream.